Well, my name's Steve Fennick, and I'm a photojournalist. I've been to quite a few countries, got a lot of mileage on me. My closest brush with death, ironically, happened in Japan. My brother was over there teaching English, and he invited me to visit him. When I got there, I had the intention of photographing Mount Fuji to add it to my portfolio. At the airport, I saw the Japanese tourism, and I went and asked them about, how do I go about doing this climb? And they just looked at me like shocked. They said, no, you can't climb it. It's closed. And I thought, well, at least I'll be able to photograph it. When I saw my brother, he just brushed it off. He said, that's just the Japanese. They're too overprotective about these things. Don't worry about it. It's no problem. We'll be safe. So I'm thinking, okay, but they did say it was closed. We caught a bus from there up to what's called the 5th station. There's 10 stations to the top of Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji sits at about 3,776 meters approximately. We got up there and donned our gear, put on some extra layers because it's a bit cooler up there, and we set out past the tree line, past the snow line, and then just after the 6th station, we set up our tent, and we said, okay, we'll spend the night here, and then tomorrow we'll go and make the ascent. Camped out, it was very cold, and in the morning the temperature was below 0. But the amazing thing that morning, we looked down, and right below us, it was like the mountain just disappeared into a sea of clouds. It was a bright and sunny day, so we set out. The thing was, though, the further higher we got up, the snow had crusted over, and it was becoming more and more difficult the further we got up. We passed the 7th station, the 8th station. We passed the 10th station. We were so close to the summit. I thought I should take a photo to commemorate this. And I looked up, my brother was about 20 meters above me. I took out my camera and I snapped a picture to sort of commemorate that. And I never knew that was going to be the last picture I took before a disaster struck. And that's when the wind really started to take effect. Basically, there were like shards of ice in the wind, and it was stinging. I couldn't look forward anymore because the ice was stinging my eyes. I had to look down, and I couldn't see where I was going. And my brother just said, Steve, he goes, we're close, but we can't go on. The more we tried, the more the wind would just lash out in our direction. It was heartbreaking to just say, we're 50 meters from the summit, and we can't do this. So he said, okay, we have to turn back. We can't go on. We started making our descent. I lost my footing and I fell about 30 meters. I looked up and my brother was shocked, and then he started climbing down, and then he wiped out, and this was where it really hit home. He shot past me like on a luge, and there was like a layer of fog, maybe about 50 meters below me. He just disappeared. He just shot into this mist. He disappeared, and my only thought at that time was, I just lost my brother. I got up and I thought, well, I have to start going down, and I'm making my way, and I actually penetrated underneath this layer of fog, and I could see my brother, and I made out the distance. It was about 200 meters below me. He's looking up, and I thought, okay, he's okay. But then I lost my footing, and I took a tumble. I tried to spin onto my stomach to try and slow my rate of descent, and I broke off all my nails. I spun back to my back, and I was trying to use my elbows to direct me, and it worked at first, but the speed just became too great. Then it looked like I was coming up to the edge of a cliff, and I thought, this is it. This is my last day on the planet. I came right to the edge of the cliff, and I believe it was divine intervention, because I came right to the edge, and I just stopped all of a sudden. I was in shock. How could that happen? When I looked down on my right foot, there was a stake of wood like 2 inches by 2 inches and then about 6 inches high, sticking out of the ice right at the edge. I came to an abrupt stop at the edge, and when I looked back up at my brother, he was at the same distance he was below, so I actually fell about 400 meters. He came down, and I remember there were tears in his eyes, and because it was his idea to climb the mountain, he said, I'm so sorry, and I just looked up, I looked at our situation, and it was pretty dire. We knew we couldn't go down. There was this cliff before us, and looking up, it was just this incredibly steep slope. But there was a cull there, and we looked over, and about 100 meters to the side, there was the actual trail, and we could see the chain-linked markers, that form the trail up to the top. That was the scariest part, was trying to negotiate that cull, which is about 100 meters. We got to that, and we were actually using the chain to slowly work our way down. And then the further we got down, the more purchase our feet would get in the snow. So it became safer and safer. We still fell like 30 times, but it's just short falls. But anyways, we managed to make it to the tree line, back to our tent, and make it safely back down to the fifth station, limping the whole way. In the aftermath, I ruptured all the nerve endings on my fingers. I had a scab from my hip right down to my ankle, and that wasn't like my pants. I still had my pants on when I finished. It was just a friction burn. And my brother, he ruptured both tendons in his ankles, and he actually bruised his heart. And so he would wake up in the middle of the night after the fact, and he thought that he was having a heart attack, but he had to go to a doctor to get these special pills for that. Looking back, I won't take that for granted. Just because it's a safe country, assume that whatever you do in a safe country is safe. Ironically, in Japan, Fuji-san nearly cost me my life.